Welcome to this tutorial on how to play the auxiliary keys parts and the organ beneath Lauren Daigle's song, Hold On To Me. I've already done a tutorial on how to play the piano part, and the location of the keys setting will be based on that. The song is arranged in its various sections, pedal introduction, verse 1, chorus 1. Verse 2 is in two parts, the second chorus, and then the third verse and ending. You'll notice that we have our instrument racks with multiple instruments, the keyboard settings. This is explained in more detail in other tutorials, and I will give the numbers for each setting when we do the parts of the song. There are several different sounds or tones used on this song. The most difficult, I thought, was trying to reproduce the various organ tones that change during the song. This is because a real organ has its drawbars that the player manipulates. In order to approximate that, I've chosen different organ sounds from my keyboard. For example, here's something called a jazzy B3. I use it for a low part. It's the bass note. There's another organ sound that's a little higher. That's another B3 with the drawbars changed. There's a soft sound. Just slightly different again because of the drawbars. And there's a little louder organ. That one on my keyboard is called augmentative. So there are several synthesizer or keyboard sounds. One of them is this sustained tremolo that's on the verse and the chorus. There's also a string type tremolo, which is down low. That's played very softly, and it's hard to hear unless you listen very carefully for it. I've also added in some vocal sounds, even though these aren't strictly the keyboard. They do fill out the chorus. Sort of the oohs and the ahs. Just some nice supplemental harmony. And then lastly, there's this polysynth supersaw sound that has a sort of a glissando effect that I'll talk about in a little more detail when we get to that section. This pitch bend or portamento or glissando effect is very interesting, and it's not used in very many songs in my experience. During the count-in, there's a soft sustained pedal tone using the organ and those two tremolo effects. Here's the setup for those pedal effects. They're all on this low D. Here's that jazz is actually played at pitch. This higher tremolo is actually pitched up 3 octaves with 36 semitones, and that low string tremolo is pitched up an octave, and then it's repeated an octave. So on the first verse, the piano part is very sparse. It doesn't change to the G in the bass on the chord change, and that F sharp doesn't come into the end. The bass note is actually played on the organ, way down low here. And the change to the G is there. So putting the parts together, first one goes like this. Here are the Ableton settings. The piano is divided up into 3 ranges. We're going from this E to A actually, and then this D is all by itself, and that is to avoid a conflict. And then we have this B, and this should be an A. There's no C sharp because that we don't want it to conflict with the low C sharp that the organ bass is playing. So these notes aren't pitched, except for this one. This is down low for that G. And here's our bass, that low D, the G, pitched up an octave. This is that range going from B, C sharp. And we have another organ sound, this soft organ I call it. First one with this D, pitched up 16 semitones, and then a chord with the 8 function. F sharp to G, 16, 8. C sharp, 24 minus 4. G1, 12, 7. B, 24 plus 3. Here's that drone on the D with that tremolo effect, up 2 octaves. It's repitched 19, so it maintains that D sound. It's the C sharp plus 25. B plus 27 plus 4. Here's that low string tremolo on the D with a second note up an octave using the chord MIDI effect. Here's the G, minus 5 plus 12. C sharp plus 1 plus 12. The B plus 3 plus 12. This is the first chorus. Here are the Ableton settings. The piano is just one instrument going from this A to this A. Here's that low organ, D to G, pitched down an octave. This range, A to B. Here's a different organ sound called Jazz 4 on my keyboard. This is a G. This is playing a full chord. It's pitched up 2 octaves, and then we've got a note down an octave, then the third, or plus 4, plus 7 for the fifth, plus 16 for the third again, plus 19, and it's doubled. There's the D, 24, minus 12, 4, 7, 12, 24. A, plus 36, minus 12, 4, 7, 16. There's our B minor, plus 36, minus 12, plus 3, plus 7, plus 15, plus 19. Notice this and this is giving us our minor third. There's an E for that E minor chord, plus 24, minus 12, 3, 7, 15, 19. Again, the minor thirds. Here's a slightly different organ sound. The G plus 36, 20. The D comes back down 19, 21. A is 24, 19. B, 24, 19. E, 24, 15. Here's that drone. The G, 19. The D, 24. The A, 29. The B, 27. The E, 22. The A, 19. This is part of the synth 2 part. It's sort of a moving series of chords, very softly in the background. There's that G plus 24 plus 12. There's our D, 31 plus 12. F sharp, 36 plus 12. We play this F sharp on that second D. I don't think I showed it in my example. There's the B, 36, 12. E, 27, 12. A, 36, 12. Here's another part from the keys 2 on the G, 24, 7, 12. On the D, 36, minus 5, 7. On the E, 36, minus 5. On the B, 36, 7, 12. On the A, 36, 7, 12. Here's those vocal harmonies. Again, this isn't strictly in the keyboard part, but I just added it. It's optional. There's our G, 24 minus 8. D is 28 minus 9. The A, 31 minus 7. This is our B, 31 minus 7. E, 27 minus 8. And another A, 16 plus 8. I forgot to mention that on the these keys 2 parts, they're actually in omnisphere, and to produce those sounds. One's called ambient hum and the other yearning pad. They sound a little something like this. That's the G. And the notes are as I described before. Verse 2 is divided up into 2 parts. The reason for that is the second half has an added organ sound that's a little fuller, and there's also that glissando effect on just before going into the chorus. And I'll show you that in a minute. But let me show you the part for the first half. The second part of verse 2 comes in just after that little piano riff from the first half. Goes down to the A. So we'll start on that. So it's da 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 da, and the Ableton is changing automatically to get you into the new sound. Notice we have a new organ coming in when we hit that D on the first beat of the second half. At the end of the verse 2 is that pitch bend glissando that we talked about. The way I've reproduced that is I have an expression pedal, and the pitch bend setting is +5, so that as I push the expression pedal, the note will go up, or the chord will go up 5 semitones. So in this case, we're going from a D up to a G. Now, I only want that to happen on one track, so I had to go in my keyboard and set all the other tracks to turn the pitch bend off on them. This may vary on your keyboard, or you may have to do something in your software to achieve this. But that effect is this. And then you take your foot away, because there is a little bit of that effect on the chorus, but the settings are slightly different. Here are the Ableton settings for the first half of the second verse. In the second half, our piano is from this D to this A, here, G to B, that should be B, our organ, D, G, again this is our bass, that's a B, C sharp +12, here's a different organ sound, it's a D, those are the numbers 24, 7, 12, here's a G, 24, 4, 7, it should be a C sharp, 27, 5, 9, 12, it should be a B, 36, -5, 3, 7 to get that chord. Here's a different organ sound. The range here is from this B to this C sharp, 12 +3 to give us our 2 minor chords. There's another B. It's a duplicate. We probably could delete that. Here's that drone. These settings are as before. 24, 36, 7, 19, 19, 12, 31, 7, 19, 29, 7, 19, and 27, 4, 12, 16, 19 for the last note on the B minor chord. Here are the Ableton settings for the second half of the second verse. Piano, we've sort of changed up our piano range. And we have this high note here. Here's our bass range on our B3 organ. These notes. G, settings, C sharp settings, B, settings, and our third organ, D, settings, G, settings, C sharp, settings, B, settings, It's that drone. This is as before. And here's that synth that is going to do the glissando. Notice that it's set way down at that low key there, but it's pitched up a couple of octaves. And then the chord is made with -5, +7, +12, +16. This is another low note, -12. I added this later, and +24. And as mentioned, it's hooked up to the expression pedal. Here's that last chorus. Here are our Ableton settings for the final chorus. Piano's in 3 parts again. That A, B, this D, that A. That's a C sharp all by its little lonesome. Notice it's got a little pitch up on it. Here's another A with an octave. Here's our bass on an organ. D to B. Organ chords. G, 12, 12, 16, 24, 36. D, 24, 12, 4, 7, -12, 4, 7, 12, 28. This should be a G. This is an A. 24, -12, 4, 7, 16, 19. This is a B. 24, -12, 3, 7, 15, 19. E for our E minor, 24, -12, 3, 7, 15, 27. There's pad, D and E, +12. Here's those omnisphere settings, D to E, +24. D to B, +24. This is D, again to E, +24. D sharp, should be a D to E, +24. Another organ, same pattern here. D, 24. -5, 4, 12, 16, 20. G, 16 +3, 8, 12, 15, 20. C sharp, 24, -4, 3, 12. B, +12, -5, 3, 7, 12, 19. E, 24, -5, 3, 7, 12. A, 16, 3, 8, 12, 15, and 20. And here's that synthesizer. D, 12, 7, 12, 16, 19, 24. The G, 12, 4, 7, 12, 16, 19, 24. The A, 12, 4, 7, 12, 16, 19. The B, 12, 3, 7, 12, 15, 19. And lastly, this E, 12, 3, 7, 12, 15, 19. So here's verse 3 into the last ending. I hope you found this video informative and helpful in learning this song and how to play all the different parts. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified of future videos. Once again, thank you very much for watching.